ladies and gentlemen, business owners. This is Business Growth Network. I am Jenna Afgar with Kyle Porter here to answer the very important question: how do we excite our customers in the customer value journey so that we can increase profits, revenues, and margins inside of our business while taking care of our customers, getting the best customer experience and those reviews and those cheerleaders that we're looking for? And Kyle is going to be here to kind of walk us through what that phase is, why it's important, who it's for, and the three different ways that we're going to see it show up on the customer value journey. So, welcome, Kyle.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And let's just first things first, what is the excite phase of a customer value journey? Like, what are we even looking at there?
Well, so I think the excite phase, it sits right in the middle of the customer value journey, and I think for very good reason, because the customer value journey, to go through it really, really fast, is this process by which we intentionally develop the relationship that we have with our customers, all the way from I've never heard of you before, all the way to I cannot wait to tell all of my friends how incredible it is to do business with you. Right. And the process that happens by is we start with awareness, which is where we basically go, hey, here's who I am. It's nice to meet you. And then at the engage stage, we basically say, hey, here's why you should do business with me, and proof that I'm as good at what I do as I say I am. And then as long as I can continue to engage with you, at a certain point, you're going to go like, hey, that Jenna really knows her stuff. I would like to hear more from her. So I'm going to give Jenna permission to reach out to me on her terms. Like, I think things flip at the subscribe stage, right? Because at engage, I'm reading your blog posts, I'm watching your YouTube videos, I'm checking out your social media. And at the subscribe stage, I'm saying like, hey, Jenna, why don't you reach out to me? Why don't you send me some emails? Why don't you send me a text? Here's my contact information so you can do that. Well, at a certain point, after I get enough of that information, you're going to look at me and go, Kyle, why don't we just sit down and talk about this? And I'm going to be like, all right, well, that makes sense. I've already paid enough attention to what you're doing. And I've got some sort of problem that it seems like you can help me solve. Otherwise, I wouldn't be paying attention to what you're doing. And at the excite phase, that's where you prove it to me. That's where you sit there and you go, Kyle, here's the problems you're solving. Here's the things that I do. And here's how that's going to make your life better. And that's where I have this like, epiphany where the clouds part and the sun shines through. And I go like, Anna can actually make my life better. Right. And then I trust you. And then you can go, well, in order for me to make that happen, you're going to have to buy this thing. You're going to have to sign up for this service. You're going to have to donate to this cause. You're going to have to, whatever the thing is that you want me to do. And then at the excite phase, it happens over and over again, because after excite comes ascend, where now it's like, okay, well, here's the next thing, and here's the next thing, and here's the next thing. But the only way you can give me the next thing is if I like the last thing. And so the ascend phase sort of cycles back to excite every single time. And once I've ascended high enough, if somebody goes, hey, Kyle, what's it like working with Jenna? I'm going to be like, it's awesome. I had all these problems and she did this, and we walked through this process and it was great. And so I'm willing to advocate for you. And then the next time I'm talking to friend X, Y, or Z and they go, I'm really struggling with this, I'm going to go, you got to talk to Jenna. She does this thing. And that's the promote stage. So the excite phase is kind of like the crux of all of it, because if you don't deliver the service that you say you're going to deliver, then like, I don't move forward. I don't do the things that you
literally say. Right in the middle. And as you guys can see, there's like arrows all outside of it, inside of it, everything. And if you don't already know what the customer value journey is, down in the description of this video, there's a link that is dedicated to the customer value journey and explaining all this. But we're going to learn just about the excite phase at this level. But I want you to definitely look at this picture. I mean, everything points there. And if you fail, it even points away. It's saying that you have to do something else. But this customer value journey, this excite phase, what type of business owners is this going to be good for? Like, who is this important for?
I won't say everybody, but I'll get real close. So the only people who don't need to worry about the excite phase, I would say, is if you sell just like a one-off piece of junk, like I sell one thing and it's really cheap and I don't really care whether you like it or not, because I'm just trying to get
pop it.
Yeah, like I'm trying to get a bunch of people to buy like one of these. And a lot of times if it's like we talked about, if it's like kids toys or like one of those little, vending machines outside the grocery store, like
Cheap
one of
kids
those
toys.
cheap, yeah, 25 cents,
Because
like comes in one of those
VTech
little
wants me coming
pods.
back.
What's that?
VTech toys want me coming back.
Yeah, that's exactly.
$100 toys, yeah, they want me coming
Mhm.
back
And
over and
everything bolts
over
on to
again.
the last thing, and if your kids, here's the thing, that's where the Excite Phase plugs in, because if your kids didn't like the VTech toy, then they're not going to buy the bolt-on thing that makes the VTech toy better than it was when you bought the main thing, right?
Yeah, or
So
even the next VTech toy. It disappointed
exactly,
you. Why would you
exactly,
get the next one?
exactly. So that's where the
But
Excite Phase
definitely
comes
service providers. If you're looking I feel like if you're looking for any kind of recurring revenue or second
in.
purchase, Excite Phase is a must.
Absolutely. And I mean, like, perfect example, before I got into the marketing space full time, I ran a kids martial arts school. If I don't deliver a class that the kids are excited about and that the parents see value in month after month after month and class after class after class, then that kid quits, that parent pulls him out. I'm constantly chasing down new members. So if
Churn.
you're in some, it's churn. If you're in some sort of service providing business and you need people to come back over and over and over again and buy either multiple times or buy higher levels of service, then like you have to deliver a service that excites them. Otherwise, you're constantly chasing that new customer.
So, I mean, you mentioned churn, so I was gonna ask, why is this important? But that's a big one, it solves churn. It
That's
keeps
right.
your customers coming back and again.
And so what does that do for you, right? If you solve the churn problem and if you say like, well, I have just taken it so that instead of buying from me, whether you're on a monthly recurring revenue thing or whether you're just like a plumber that delivers service over and over again really, really well. And so every time I have a leaky pipe, every time I have a running faucet, every time I have a no hot water in my house, like if I trust you to show up at my house when you say you will, deliver a service that's going to work, then I'm going to call you over and over and over again, and you only had to acquire me as a customer one time. After that, all you had to do was deliver really good service so that I would call you again and again and again. And every time I call you, I increase the value, I increase the margin, right? So it's
Mhm.
not just about decreasing churn, it's about making your business more profitable. Because if I can get somebody to buy 10 times from me rather than 5 times because my service is so good, I've effectively doubled the size of my business just by being good at what I do.
And increase the asset price of your business if you're looking to sell out. Well, sell
100%.
not sell out, so sell out sounds terrible.
Right.
And what happens if they don't have an Excite Phase? What are the symptoms they'll see inside of their business?
Yeah. So think about the Excite Phase as like a key, right? And every single time that you're trying to ascend a customer to the next level of service, you are facing a locked door, right? And that locked door is them saying no, right? I don't want that thing. Okay. Well, in order to unlock that door, what I've got to do is I've got to provide a service to you that excites you so that I unlock the door to whatever the next level of service is. You bought my $100 thing and you got $150 worth of value. Well, now, hey, I just happen to have this $500 thing. And you're going, well, tell me about that $500 thing. Because now we've got a relationship. Now you trust me. Now I've delivered service where your $100 investment in me returned, in your eyes, returned $150 worth of value. And so if that's true with $100, why would I not invest $500 and get $750 back, right? But at the point that I stop delivering that value, at a point where I stop giving the key or handing my customers the key to the next door, they don't move forward. So if they buy the $100 thing and it's awesome, and they buy the $500 thing and it sucks, and then I go, well, do you want the $1,000 thing? They go, I don't trust you anymore. No, like I'm staying put where I'm at. Like you did great with the $100 thing, but once I got here, like this wasn't it. And so now I'm not moving forward. So what happens is if you don't over and over and over and over again excite your customers, then they
Mhm.
don't move forward. They don't open the next door.
It's the open door strategy. The marketer in me just can't help it.
Wow, we just did that. We just made it.
We did that is the open door strategy.
How about
Boom. So, we're discussing what happens if you don't. If we kinda, like, look back on the customer value journey as a whole, we've got all the different arrows. Let's discuss that first arrow there. What is the first type or the first place that we're going to see that Excite strategy come into play? So, very
yep.
number 1, We're going from the convert stage where they have either they've invested their time with us or they have invested a lower amount of money.
Right. So I have a background in storytelling, is sort of like where I got into marketing from. And one of my favorite lines and one of my favorite things to talk about is that storytelling is not about a hero slaying a dragon. That's not what stories are about. Stories, the hero slays the dragon, but stories are not about heroes slaying dragons. What they are about is stories are about heroes becoming the kind of people that can slay dragons. And there's a big difference
Hmm.
there. So what's happening is in that convert stage, I have become familiar with you. I have engaged with your content. I have given you permission to reach out to me, and I've decided to give you some of my resources. I've decided to give you some time, give you some money. I've decided to sit with you and give you a chance. In that convert stage, what you have done is you have proven that you can take me where I want to go. You can help me become the kind of person that can slay dragons. And that's what we call this aha moment. And the aha moment is I've been struggling, I've been stuck, I've been in pain, and I have not been able to find a way through it, around it, above it, underneath it. And what you are doing is you are giving me a vehicle by which I can go through my problem and get to the other side. If you don't give me that, if you don't in that initial convert stage, whether it's an initial commitment of time or an initial commitment of money, if you don't make me have that aha moment where it's like, oh, this is what I've been missing. This is why it hasn't been working because I haven't been working with Jenna, right? That's where I get stuck, right? I don't move forward. And the next phase is the ascend phase, right? And if you skip over Excite, if we get on a call and I go, well, our service is very much like everybody else's service.
Uh,
We're gonna the right. So what I need to do is I need to give you something you haven't seen before. I need to give you access to the hope that this aha moment provides, right? And it's relief, it's excitement, and it's that hopeful feeling of like, man, there may actually be a way out of this problem. Now, the second one is going from convert to excite. Now, excite is going to lead me to ascend. And ascend is where I go, okay, well, here's level one of what I sell. Here's level two. Here's level three. And that can be products or services, right? It can be, come
mhm.
back month after month and do karate classes. It can be call me anytime you've got a leaky pipe or a running faucet or a whatever. It can be you've got the jacket. Now you need the scarf and the boots. It can be any number of things where I basically say, hey, do you want this other thing? It can be, hey, you've got the VTech, whatever thing. Do you want the lightning port that bolts onto the
Mhm.
top of it? And like it can be anything that makes the other stuff work better or that makes it so that, we can add on those upsells and cross sells. Well, every single time that I ascend, there's that arrow pointing back to Excite because now I've got that obligation, right? You just
Yep.
bought the VTech thing. Well, if the bolt on thing doesn't work or if it crashes it and now you've got, then I'm going to stop buying that stuff, right? So what I've got to do is I've got to every single time that I ascend, I've got to bring somebody back in and I've got to excite them again over and over and over and over again. And then we get into advocate, right? And advocate is the
Mhm.
stage where somebody comes up to me, whether that's you or whether it's somebody else, and asks me, like, hey, what's it like to do business with this person? What's it like to buy that product? What's it like to buy that service? What's it like to donate to that cause? What does it make you feel like? How does it work? Did the product meet your expectations, right? Because anytime you purchase something, you go into it with a set of expectations. Excite is where I, at every possible opportunity, attempt to exceed your expectations. That's what gives me that permission to ascend. Now, the advocate stage is where you have delivered your service to me and somebody goes, hey, what'd you think? If you haven't done a good job of exciting me, I'm either going to really speak my mind and I'm going to be like, well, it sucked. It wasn't good. It didn't get me where I wanted to go. Felt like a waste of time and a waste of money. That's not what we're looking for at the
That's not the goal.
right? But if I've done a great job, if I've excited you, if I've taken you and I've gotten you results, then when I go like, hey, what's it like to work with Jenna? It's, oh my gosh, I started working with Jenna. I was completely stuck in my business. I had no strategy. I had no idea what to do. And I worked with Jenna and now my business is on track for record profits. That's what we're looking for out of the advocate stage. But the only way you get me there is to actually deliver on those promises.
I almost feel like the way that you've described the excite stage 2 is, I have dogs, is almost like rewarding rewarding the behavior you want. So somebody is, they met with you, they converted in time or money, and so you excite them. And then they ascend with you, so you excite them. And then they leave you, positive feedback, reviews, and you excite them.
Mhm.
It I've never thought about it that way, but it feels like throwing, treats at a dog every time they sit when you want them to sit.
Right. And I think that it goes even, maybe to use that same analogy, it goes even deeper than that. It goes back to just being the right kind of dog owner, right? So if your dog does the thing, then like what you're doing is you're proving to your dog, like, you can trust me. I'm going to be consistent
Mhm.
with my application of rewards. I'm going to be consistent with my application of expectations. I'm going to be consistent. I'm going to take you out for a walk at the same time every day. I'm going to give you food at the same time every day. And over time, what happens is your dog learns to trust you. They learn that if they do their part, that you're going to do your part.
Mhm.
And that's where that mutual trust starts to be built, right? And I think that's where we start to get people who are advocating for us. We start to actually have a relationship. That's what a relationship is. It's not like, it's not I take and you give. It's we're both in this together. We're developing a relationship. And that means that I've got expectations, you've got expectations. We're both meeting our expectations. And so everybody's happy.
So we have the excite stage when we've covered so much. I mean, we're increasing the profit margins because we're getting people to buy more. We're getting them to come back. Also lowering the cost of awareness stage,
Mhm.
decreasing the ad spend so that we are making the same amount of revenue, increasing the revenue without increasing ad spend or what we're having to pay an employee for organic. You're paying for awareness no matter what. We're creating customers who are happy, who are going to leave good reviews. Like I feel like it's really in the center. We're creating everything that somebody wants in their business in one stage. Like
Yeah.
that stage feels like it's in the center for a reason. Like it's indispensable. And this is why I've bought into using this framework instead of a funnel or a sales process, the traditional ones, because I felt like that was the part that was missing.
Right. And I think that
It's
the
glue.
biggest mistake, even when I see people who are familiar with this framework, is
Hmm.
the biggest mistake that I see is people treating the excite phase like it only happens once. And that's not the case at all. It should be the foundation of every single interaction. Once you're at a place where the interaction is mutual, right? I can reach out to
Hmm.
you, you can reach out to me. Once we're at that stage where we're mutually communicating, then I need to go into it thinking people have expectations of this interaction, whatever it is, whether it's a quick phone call, a quick email. It's as simple like I don't want to go too far off track, but like the emotional bank account, right? Am I making deposits in the
Ah,
emotional relationship that we have with each other every single time that I engage with you? Am I responding quickly? Am I being honest? Am I showing up when I said I would? Am I delivering the results I said I would? And if I do that, then people are willing to move forward. And if I stop doing that, then now I'm making withdrawals from that emotional bank account and people stop moving.
that's absolutely true. Well, thank you so much, Kyle, for taking the time to educate us about the Excite page. And again, if you have no idea what we're talking about when it comes to the customer value journey, drop down in the description below and go watch the video on that one. Because if your business does not have a customer value journey, if you have no idea what we're talking about, you can't even add these benefits to your business, and you definitely need those. I think you've described so many. Like I said, it increased revenue, decreasing ad costs, profits, margins. This is a wonderful aspect. Thank you so much, Kyle, for coming on.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, guys.